morning or afternoon, depending on where in the country you're joining us. I'm Jenny in the eSUB Marketing Department, and I thank you for joining us for the Quick Tips webinar series. Let me advance the slide. I want to thank all of our customers for joining us, and also a quick welcome to some of our new customers that signed on in January. Thank you so much for your partnership, and we look forward to helping you get the most out of eSUB. If you have any colleagues that may benefit from using eSUB, let us know, because we have a referral program to thank you for your reviews and referrals. So coming soon is eSUB time. We have today our product manager, Heather Hepburn, with us. More to come on that, but first we need to set the stage. So luckily for us, Heather's here to join us because we've got some important product updates coming your way. So Heather, you can go ahead and let the customers know what's going to be happening.
Cool. All right, thanks, Jenny. Thanks everybody for joining today. If we can go to the next slide. So I want to talk about some security updates. We have some new rules for passwords. If you have an insecure password, our new, sorry, I'm hearing an echo. Sorry, we're hearing an echo. Hopefully you can hear me. Our new password change requirements. If you're changing your password, you need to have, your passwords need to be 8 characters long. They need to have at least 1 capital letter, 1 lowercase letter, and 1 number. So we've just implemented a new security infrastructure. We want to make sure that we're setting the stage for a secure environment for you. And so we actually have, we're going to be sending out information via email, but I can review with you really quickly. In eSUB Academy, we have an article of how to change your password. So essentially, you go to your name in the top right of the page, you select Change Password, and that will bring you to the Edit User page for changing your password. And you enter your password, save your data. Again, you have to meet those requirements of a minimum of 8 characters, 1 uppercase or a capital letter, 1 lowercase, and 1 number. And so those are changes for our passwords. And I have another update with regards to something that's coming soon within the next week. We're actually going to have a new login page. So currently you're used to entering in your subscriber ID code and then going in to another page to enter your username and your password. Well, we're changing that experience, again, because of our new infrastructure. And so we're going to be changing that to where you just enter your username and password. And if you're associated to multiple companies, then you'll go to a page and you'll pick the company that you're associated to on that next page. But if you only have one company that you're associated to, we're going to bypass you to get you into eSUB as quickly as possible. And look for more information about that in the email that we'll be sending out this week as well.
Yes, thank you, Heather. So we will be sending out an email about some of these changes later after this webinar concludes. And please, as soon as you get them, please forward them to others in your department that may be affected by this. These changes are going to be happening. The password one is today. And then within the next week, we'll let you know about when the infrastructure update is going to be live. So thank you, Heather. Right now, we're going to get into our tip. I want to introduce you all to Ed Coffin. Ed has a wealth of knowledge and is just the most popular guy you ever travel with him at a trade show. So if you want to feel like one of the cool kids, just walk the trade floor with Ed. He knows everyone, and that's because he's the king on implementing cost codes, job costing, work breakdown structure. He has over 30 years of experience in the electrical industry, and we are very fortunate to have Ed on our team. So he's going to cover how to use issues to enhance document management today. So Ed, I'm going to go ahead and give you keyboard and mouse control. So just let's wait a second over here. All right, you got it? Ed, I think you're on mute.
I don't actually have the control, but Jenny, if you just want to switch to the next slide, that'll be fine. If you just want to control it, be easy enough. All right, so thanks everybody for joining us here this morning, afternoon, depending on your geographical location. And thanks, Jenny, for all the kind words there, and Heather, absolutely, on updating our team on up and coming and recent events within eSUB. But I'm really proud to be able to take this short time in this webinar to show you a few things about eSUB and enhancing your documentation management. But initially, I'd like to first prime you with some typical document workflows that exist in eSUB right now that most of us are used to. Basically, each document is tracked, or we actually create and track the progress of what you see on the screen: RFIs, change orders, submittals, purchase orders, and other documents. But that's the great thing about eSUB, is we're being able to create and track all these documents. We're tracking them from pending to answered or approved with associated backup and correspondence threads and so forth. Combining this with the mobile app and the automated email process, the whole documentation management has certainly become much easier and more effective. You want to switch to the next screen, Jenny. Now, this leads to today's tip. You know, I've showed you that standard workflow that eSUB has, but today's issue or tip is about using eSUB's issues feature, and basically to enhance your documentation management. But I'm going to use the following example to really kind of demonstrate the actual tip here. So the example basically I'm going to use is a mechanical contractor basically on a project accidentally flooded an electrical room by drilling through a sprinkler standpipe. It happened one afternoon, and the electrical foreman was able to capture a series of eSUB field notes during the flood, and even captured a video from his cell phone. The electrical contractor really had to jump into action. Power went out to the whole building and had to execute the repairs, restore power to the office tenants, and also protect their own interests in making sure that any costs associated with this instance was not impacting them. So the following documents were all created and tracked in eSUB, as I showed you in the previous workflow. And it had started from initial pictures of the incident, went to an RFI to the GC. It was submitted and approved as a change order, and subsequent submittals and purchase orders were submitted, and proof of work completed was also documented in daily work reports. So all of these were all related to the incident itself. So today's tip is really applying eSUB's issues to track the flood as an incident, and essentially attach any of the documents that I talked about related to that incident. Now, with eSUB issues, let me make sure I'm on the right slide, Jenny. With eSUB issues, you can track a specific construction issue, like that flood in the electrical room. But also, all the documents associated with you can easily be organized or filed under that issue, and that's the key to this tip. So switch to the next slide, Jenny. Now, eSUB issues can be specific instances, as I mentioned with the example about the flooded electrical room. But also, eSUB issues can also be generalized instances that any contractor finds themselves dealing with over and over again on their projects, such as delays by other trades. There could be vendor issues like back orders or delivery issues that are causing our field workers to waste time. Another issue could be ongoing engineering issues, where a particular engineer is consistently providing vague and incomplete specifications, but also is resisting approving change orders related to those design mistakes. Not only is this causing delays and impacts up front with the initial confusion, but also in the potential costly rework due to unapproved work. So all of these issues can have a loss of production and expose us to disputes and liabilities and scheduling costs. So these are all the protection tools built in as best practices within eSUB. But documentation, as we've at eSUB like to promote, is that documentation is basically leverage. Leverage is essential to overcome construction conflicts and protect your profits and your business. So from your eSUB training, we've been educating your foreman on what to look for when taking field notes, and they relate directly to this topic and tip, because a lot of the trainers have been showing the use of keywords when we do a field note, like delay by other trade, and then say hashtag change order or hashtag RFI. So we're doing that presently with our field notes, but the same idea provides an easy way to categorize the notes for quick reference and searching within eSUB, but it also can use to identify, like I said, any field notes that could be used for additional backup. But really, let's take a look right inside the application on issue tracking and how it works within eSUB. So Jenny, I've got my, you want to switch it over to screen share? I can
yeah. Let me go ahead and make you presenter, Ed, but before we go ahead and do that, before you launch into your demo, I want to go ahead and let's take a poll. Let's find out from our customers now on the line if any of them currently use issues. So go ahead and let Ed know, just kind of a frame of reference to see, you know, how many people are using issues and how much he should be able to deep dive and kind of explain to everybody how this can really benefit you guys. All right, so we're seeing some answers come through. I'm going to go ahead and close that because we've been steady for a little bit. So Ed, you've got some work for people to show.
Excellent, excellent. Jenny, I'm not sure, I think the screen share went away. I'm not sure if you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, I'm going to hide the poll and then I'm going to go, you should be able to be presenter right now. So go ahead and share your screen.
Oh, fair enough, there we go. There we go.
Perfect.
I'll use, Jenny, do you see my screen as a test bed?
It looks beautiful.
All right, perfect. So this is, and what we see here is within eSUB, we're creating and logging all these construction documents, as I'd mentioned. And we go in and we track all the RFIs, tracking from pending to answered, we're tracking change orders from pending to approved and so forth. But up here is the issues log. And this is where we can come in and create an issue. And when you click on the issue, basically it can be very specific, like the flooded electrical room, let's say, you know, flooded electrical room, or it could be those generalized issues that we see from job to job. I could put another issue called engineering issues, make another one called vendor issues and so forth, and then simply select or save data. Now the log itself, as we create and log, now we have the log issues, and I have mine filled out for this webinar, and you're going to see. Let me just pull my mouse down a bit. It's not coming down. I can't get my screen to drop for some reason. Here we go. Yeah, my screen isn't dropping. There we go. Apologize for that. Technology's great when it's working. Now, what you see here, and I'm just going to use my highlighter real quickly, is in the issues, we're actually tracking an issue number. So you see number 38, number 37, 36, and so forth. So I had a number of these in here. But what I want you to point out or look at and highlight is the gray highlighted lines here. So we see the flood in the electrical room. We also see delays by other trades, and these are the main issues. There's the vendor issue that I talked about. Here's the engineering issue that I talked about. Now, as we look at specifically now this flood in the electrical room, you'll see that it's listing a number of different documents. that are all part of eSUB's functionality, like RFIs, purchase orders, minutes of meetings, change order requests, and daily work reports. But if you look here, there's the actual document number, RFI number 40 and PO number 7. But what I'm trying to do is essentially create a document path of everything related to that flood in the electrical room. So first of all, it started out from the field note from the foreman, and you'll see up in here, you see the typical edit, attach, and even delete this this issue. But the attachments, these are all the construction documents, but there's also could also be related other documents from your field notes, or some other document, even like a video you could drag and drop into a into Dropbox. So I'm going to open up this one right off the bat and show you where it initially started from. Is that we have a number of documents in here, and there's the actual quote. Here's the foreman actually capturing the video. We don't open the video up in eSUB, but we capture it, we can attach it to a document, and then we can download it. But the point is here is it's backup to information, and picture's worth 1,000 words. There's many of us at eSUB say picture's worth $1,000. The actual damage, there's a actual picture of the nameplate on the switchboard that got damaged in the electrical room. And then for some reason, it's not allowing me to bring my mouse down. There it is. And here's the electrical room flood. This is what initiated it all. The foreman was able to capture pictures at the moment. So we come in here and you can see the actual flood itself. Again, there was 2 feet of water in the electrical room. So typical field note captured in eSUB, date stamped, time stamped, and all that. But the actual picture of the water level rise in there. So obviously power had to be shut down, and subsequent damage. So you can attach any of these files, even a red line from a plan grid as well. But the point now is going back to our issues log. You're going to see here, there's the RFI. So the original field notes, the RFI that was sent actually to the general contractor describing the actual incident that happened, the flood, attached pictures and videos, all powers out to the building, request expedited change order to minimize power outage. There was also a PO that was issued, and we did that in the purchase order section of eSUB. The actual purchase order, there's some minutes of meeting in here, the actual change that was approved or submitted and then approved to replace damaged switchgear from the flood. The daily work report, these were included to prove the work that was actually completed associated with this issue. Remove existing damaged switchboard, and then install new switchboard or switchgear, terminated, energized, and tested. And this allows the instead of it being an RFI log and a PO log and a change order log, if there's something there that you're trying to track as an incident overall, this is an excellent way for eSUB to have you capture it all instead of having to remember, was it RFI 40 and keep going to all these documents. It's a very nice way to capture all of them. Now, as we go into, let's say the RFI number 40, you can actually use the edit pencil, and it'll take you right to where RFI 40 and the information that it was associated with. And this is when you create an RFI and you attach and you email. So it's gone into the function within outside of the RFIs, where we have that log with all the RFIs, and we've added it to one particular issue or incident. And how we're able to attach that to any particular issue is down at the bottom of all your documents when you create them, or you can go back and edit it anytime, and whether it be the daily work reports, the RFIs, the change order submittal, and so forth. Down here is the issue link. So as you create the issues, and I've created 4 issues, one of them I talked about, the specific issue here, and then the generalized ones, the delays by other trades, the vendor issue, the engineering issue. I can assign this particular document to one of these issues. And once I hit save, let me bring this back up, sorry. I got too many sidebars on here, so please appreciate your patience. There we go. So we now go back to the log, and you'll see that that's how RFI 40 got attached. Same with purchase orders. At the bottom of all the documents, when you create them, you can use that issues link to tie them together. So when we now start talking a little bit about the further away the generalized issues, like a vendor issue. The idea to take and track a vendor issue is because I'm trying to look at the performance of either the engineer or the vendor, and the vendor might be really not caring that they're not getting the deliveries on time. They're back ordering. There's back orders on all the things, and that's causing a lot of disruption and wasting time on the job site, as well as a project manager trying to chase all this stuff down. So I've instructed my foreman to go in and track any field notes from that. And again, you'll see up in here, there's attachments to this issue, as well as any RFIs. And you can see here, there's some attached field notes. And in here, there's another back order, need missing lugs, ASCP, and then the word hashtag delay, and actually hashtag vendor issue. There was actually two issues related to this. Back order, please get vendor to ship remaining couplings, and so forth. So the foreman's the one that's taking the pictures here, and he's creating that that backup or that paper trail. And then when we go back to the actual log itself, I go back down there, is I'm sending this RFI to the vendor, letting them know, back order of 3-inch connectors, please ship ASAP. This is causing a significant delay to our schedule. No CT compartment, so forth, and delivered damage. And they're not answering me. And again, more proof that they're not really caring about my performance on the job. And the reason for doing this is there's things that are slowing me down, and I want to protect my profits. And even though there's general contractor issues right on the job, there's some unrelated things that are also whittling away at our profits. And this is a great way to track them. And if this becomes a significant problem, it's an opportunity to call my vendor in and lay him across the table and let him know that if he doesn't smarten up, I'm going down the street to somebody else. That leads also to the engineering issues here. I'm starting to track, or trying to track, I'm trying to get my mouse down again. I apologize, it won't come down. I do not know why it's doing it. There we go. Now the engineering issues. I mentioned that, you know, the engineer's not doing, he's got vague documents and things like that, and we're notoriously, as contractors, having to fill in the blanks. And when the engineer makes a mistake, it's funny how they don't seem to own up to that, but when we make a mistake, they're telling us to basically eat it. So the idea here is I'm trying to track issues related to, let's say, this voltage drop issue, missing components on the job, missing cable tray and things like that. Again, alluding to a kind of a weak design or not really complete. Again, I've emailed change order requests, and they're pending. I want my foreman, I want my project managers as an owner of a company as well to keep track of this information, because again, I see patterns with vendors and I see patterns with engineers. Your type of industry that you're in, as all of us are logged into this from different verticals, you've got certain things that you see as well that you may want to track as common issues you see from job to job, because if they fester, they become problems, but we can actually nip them in the bud and early enough to be able to stop those issues on future jobs as well, or throughout the duration of this project, we could stop the problems and get back on track and be as efficient as possible. So really, for the most part, that is the tip. The idea is that many contractors are using eSUB to be able to track all their RFIs and documents, but this adds a little bit more dynamics in terms of tracking now multiple documents against one particular issue. So I do appreciate everybody's time. I hope that's had getting everybody's head thinking about some other ways to apply eSUB to their business and get more value out of out of how they can use it to control their projects much more effectively.
Thank you, Ed. And I think it, like you said, it was kind of a great tip to share with our customers. I know a lot of them, 86% are currently using eSUB, so this is probably the first time many have seen it and been exposed into a new, different workflow. So we've got some time. If you have any questions for Ed, if there's any way that you want us to dive deeper into anything, let us know if there's something that Ed can show you, or if there's something else that's kind of a question that you're having in your daily workflow. Let us know. I see that we've got some hand raised. Let's take a look. We've got a lot of folks on the phone, so if you do have any questions, we do ask that you submit them in the chat panel. Looks like you did a really great job, Ed. So let's launch into a poll.
Sure.
To see if, Ed, do you have anything?
No, I just wanted to reiterate to reach out to your account managers, reach out to your trainers to take it further and demonstrate how to properly apply it to your own business as well.
Let's share it. It looks like you did a great job, Ed, sharing with everybody kind of how they can use this as the best practice.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. It's nice that nobody that's zero. That's but you know, I'd like to think it's a definitely positive value here. The unsure, I think the reason for that is that they're not quite sure how to apply.
Right, and then we've got some folks that if there's maybe they're unsure on how this will be able to work with them, your customer success manager will be able to reach out to you and see if there's any additional ways that you can do this. We've got our product update emails that we will be sharing out this afternoon, so please share them with your team accordingly. And remember that it is an eSUB customer. You get unlimited support and training, so contact your client success manager to schedule any deeper training on issues or anything else that you might need some help with. And then make sure you join us next month. So Chad Williams, one of our trainers here, and he'll share with us how to use field notes to begin the documentation process. So thank you everyone for sharing a bit of your day with us, and those that we didn't get to, your CSM will be able to answer your questions. Thanks so much and have a great day, everybody.